I always wanted to be the best. I always wanted to be number one. I always wanted to get to the top. I never believed in just getting by. Find your vision and follow it. If you don't have a goal, if you don't have a vision, you just drift around and you're not going to be happy. If you don't see your future laid out in front of you, you're just floating around without a purpose. Never ever think small. If you're going to accomplish anything, you have to think big. You have to go and shoot for the stars. I'm not worried about failing because that's part of life. And you know something? That the only time you really consider the failure is if you fall and you don't get up. But if you get up, you never consider the failure. So I never considered myself a failure. I always considered myself a winner, even though I fell every so often. If you do something, then go all out and do it well. I always smiled when I worked, no matter how hard I worked. I always had a great time. I remember in the pumping iron days, people ask me in the gym all the time, why are you smiling all the time? Why are you so happy? And I tell them always, I say, I smile because I know exactly that every rep that I do, that every set that I do, every weight that I lift, I get one step closer to turning that vision of mine into reality and becoming that Mr. Universe. I could not wait to lift another 500 pounds in the squats. I could not wait to do another 1,000 sit-ups. I knew that every rep got me closer to standing on that stage as a champion. As a matter of fact, when I lifted weights, I didn't really feel like I was lifting weights. I felt like I was lifting a trophy over my head each time I lifted. Nobody ever stumbled upon success by accident. I always believed no stone unturned. Work your butt off. That's what I always believed. No matter what you do, work, work, work. It doesn't matter in what area you're in. No pain, no gain. I mean, it drives me absolutely nuts when people say, I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to work out, or I have worked so hard all day, I'm tired, I cannot work out anymore. Or I cannot read another book, or I cannot improve myself, or I don't have time, or I work so hard that I cannot really improve my business, or I cannot grow as a person, or any of those things. What the hell are we talking about here? I mean, the day is 24 hours, you sleep 6 hours, so you have 18 hours left. When I came to the United States, I remember that I trained 5 hours a day, every day, and I was managing a construction business and I was a bricklayer. I went to college also, and I took acting classes from 8 o'clock at night to 12 o'clock midnight. All of that in one day. Every day I did that. I did not worry about it. I knew that I had 24 hours and I didn't want to waste one single hour. Have a vision. Think big. Ignore the naysayers. Work your ass off. I remember when I was in the military, I had my dumbbells and my barbells on the side of the tank. I was a tank driver. I took the tools out of the side of the toolbox and I put my dumbbell, the blades, the weights in there and the bars and then the collapsible bench I put in there, and then we went on maneuver, and at 6 o'clock or at 7 o'clock at night when we were finished, I pulled out all my equipment. I would work out 2-3 hours a day. So, I mean, when everyone was tired and fell asleep, I would be working out. So to me, I always concentrated on just working hard, and that's how I became the youngest Mr. Universe ever with the age of 20. Ignore the naysayers. People are gonna say around you, I don't think it can be done. I think it's impossible, or no. But I want to tell you, don't ever let them stop you from dreaming and from shooting for the big goal. When someone said it's impossible, I heard it's possible. When someone said it can't be done, I heard it can be done. And when someone said no, then I heard loud and clear, yes. Just remember, you can't climb that ladder of success with your hands in your pockets. You must work your ass off. It's that simple.
We have to give God a lot of credit. But I think that we cannot just rely on God. We have to also do our own work. And I think the secret to success, it doesn't matter if you come from a little village or from a big town. There's one thing that you have to do, and that is you have to first of all work your ass off. You have to be brave. You have to be tough. It is very important that you don't listen to the naysayers, because in every step of the way, when you make decisions like, I want to be a bodybuilding champion of the world, people say, this is impossible, this is an American sport, it's never gonna happen. When I wanted to be in the movies, they said, you have an accent, it's never gonna happen. No one ever became a leading man when you have an accent. You have a huge body, you weigh 250 pounds, you look like a monster. That doesn't work when you work with a woman that maybe weighs 100 pounds, it's all off. The naysayers were always there, even in politics. When we ran for governor, they said, are you crazy? You're an actor. You're a businessman. I mean, you're not a politician. You should start to be a mayor first and maybe an assemblyman or senator, but not to be around for governor. So I never listened to the naysayers because I believed what Nelson Mandela said, that everything is always impossible until someone does it. There is no such thing as a self-made man. Because so many times people say that you're a self-made man, you're the perfect example of the American dream and this and that. And these are all great compliments, but the reality is, as I always say, that you can call me anything you want, but don't ever call me self-made man. Because I would not be here if I wouldn't have had parents that were dedicated and gave us the love and the affection and the discipline and all of the stuff right from the beginning. I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't have had the help from so many bodybuilders in Graz that helped me. Then all the way to Munich, Albert Busek, then Joe Weider that brought me to America, who is the father of bodybuilding, who was the greatest, who created bodybuilding and all this phenomenon. He brought me to America and he gave me the confidence. He paid for the first apartment in Santa Monica. Without that, I wouldn't have made it. If I wouldn't have had the Dino De Laurentiis, on the beginning, who was one of the greatest producers of all time. He made over 500 movies, who came to me and said, I offer you Conan the Barbarian. Huge movie that was the breakthrough movie for my international career. If I wouldn't have had John Milius to direct it, or Jim Cameron to say to me that I want you for Terminator, or John McTiernan to do Predator, Ivan Reitman to give me a chance to go into comedy movies. So all of these people help. So how can I say that I'm a self-made man? Including when I was governor, when I became governor of the state of California, I had 5 million people voting for me. Every one of those people that voted for me helped me to become governor. How can I say that I made myself, right? So it would be nonsense, ludicrous. So this is why I say those are the things that I think were important for me to be successful. And like I said, it doesn't matter then from what village you come from or anywhere. You have to recognize that, and those are kind of the elements that make one successful. When I worked out, I didn't just lift for myself. I wanted to lift the entire sport. I always was interested to work towards something that is bigger than me, something that is going to be around much longer than me. I'm going to be gone one day, but bodybuilding should not be gone. So this is why it was a pleasure for me and an honor for me to go into this sport, to win the world championships 13 times over, Mr. Universe, Mr. Olympia, Mr. World, Mr. International, and all of this kind of stuff. But to think always about one thing, and this is, how can I elevate the whole sport and make it a real popular sport and make it hip for the young people and for everybody to do. You learn quickly that life is not just about how successful you are and how big of a career do you have, what big of a star you are, and how much money do you make. That's all great. I love it. Love being a star, love being rich and all that stuff. But that's not what life is all about. It's about, in the end, not how much we make, but how much we give back. Don't complain about it, do something about it. I'm not afraid of failure, because I think those people that are afraid of failure are frozen and they're afraid to make a move. You got to go all out and not be afraid of failure. And I was not afraid to fail and to lose, but I won.